Yes, that's right. Are you able to do that for us? See it as a favour. We'll be forever in your debt. You can rely on us to carry out your bidding. A claw reached towards the control panel, bustling with lights, grass, and the sound of an alien artifact sunken into a pool of liquid neon beneath summer palms. Night, night, from La La Land. It flicked a switch, and the birds watched the men on the railings flicker like stars. Their skinny, naked frames glistening in the morning of daytime television reruns. The radios and TVs changed their output. In an instant, programming went from soothing experience, conducted from the tranquility of a writer's garden shed, free from sex and violence and general dastardly behaviours, to that of scaremongering and warnings and communiques that meant you, the citizen, better not step out of line. We'll have you tied to the side of the road and belted heat and ripped if you step out of line. And once we're done with that, we'll strap you to the front of a truck and drive you over a cliff. Got it? Don't think about turning us off or tuning out, throwing the paper in the bin. Watch these words lasso your fingers and drag them into the pit of your very imagination. Bathe in paranoia, amigo. Bathe. Feel the ink climb through your hands and up your arms, veins bulging with knowledge and worlds you can only begin to comprehend. I can taste you in my mouth now, all of it through the phone line. This is the old house where the old ladies live. Hear their teeth chattering porch floorboards as they wait for the young man with nothing much to do apart from fix their fridge and mend their fence. Watch him and wait. He'll come kissing soon. A man like him needs a warm bed. You'll hear the parrot farmers swinging in the bells. And so it was done. He couldn't believe that's all it took to get something like this to happen. He felt like a proper businessman. He felt tall. He'd been cynical in the beginning. An advert appeared in the local newspaper offering to grant respondents a wish. It was all rather cartoonish, but it sure beat making Hope's calls to the town residents. That was becoming monotonous. This was exciting and experimental. He believed the majority of people who called might ask for something to help them progress through life. Perhaps grant them enough freedom to never work again. That was the aim of the game after all, wasn't it? To never actually work again. To indulge yourself in pursuits that purely sate the body and mind, without ever having to worry about paying a mortgage or finding cash to feed and clothe yourself. and your family. At the other end of the line had been a creature in a dark basement deep beneath a far-off city. Sat at a large desk with a banker's lamp and a red phone. Water dripped down the walls, so it looked as if the room had been overrun by a swamp, damp and sticky, and the streaks shimmered in the light. The switch, the silence. They stood looking up at the trees in spring, taking the soft peaches and cerise colours of the blossoms into their eyes, their noses, their hearts. Light fading like old age before the inevitable. Serenity's gossamer veil draped daintily over the town square as the birds chirped and the cats lay languid under motor vehicles and the butcher lay down his knives for the day. There was peace out here in Bubble. It was a place without crime and without people, it seemed, occupied solely by the two of them, husband and wife, holding hands on the path that led round the bowling green, still under the trees, the large burnt orange town hall with its gargoyles frozen in flight, teeth bared against an orchid sky and hushed by centuries of whispers that crept from the letterboxes and cat flaps of the surrounding homes and bothered their ears like naughty school children. This was the silent port, and their boat had come to rest for the night. The gentle lapping of the waves rocking them to sleep as mermen and women drank heartily in the harbour's bars, each clink of a glass, sending another mortal sailor on an odyssey beneath the table to flounder with the termites and the spittle, the ale and the blood. Not long before another sunk through the wooden waves to join them. Okay, that's enough. Back inside. They heard the words and saw the stick, a long, thin protrusion, a black plongeur pricked the membrane, and with it the birds turned to dust and the flowers to flame. The butcher screamed white as he took his own hand off and slapped it against the shop window with a smile dark as rain, and how the town cats clawed through the door to get at his stomach. The couple came to in the bed. You let us sleep for once. They had slept due to utter exhaustion. Their bodies couldn't take it much longer. Their minds had been gouged out and put through a car crush. Hoovering up spiders, that's what I was doing in my dream. Hoovering up spiders, no matter how much I tried to get this one little black bugger, it just kept climbing back out from under the rollers and scuttling across the floor. I let him live in the end. And at this point in time, the last thing the man wanted to do was be alive. That all seems rather reasonable, she replied. The side of her face stuck to the worn pillow with saliva. Hers was a different type of sleep, one populated with thin white harpies, part sea eel, part woman, The lot of them draped over rocks that sprung from the ocean like diamonds, and they were cracking the shells of another animal over these anvils and sucking the flesh into their translucent throats. The food's journey traceable through the body from hole to hole. When was the last time she'd been to a restaurant to dine with friends? Where were her friends? How were they coping with all of this? Would they come knocking when it was all over? And what would they find? 2 rakes of people, remnants of a loving couple, a bit here, a bit there, scattered through the home. Here, look at what's been left in the fridge. Ugh, gross. Are attached to the breathing apparatus and the other life-giving accoutrements they had been hooked up to. All of these scenarios would have been welcome. Their last drop of existence, swirling round a plant pot in a garden with a prime view of the bay. But now there was something cold, swishing past their ear, scything into the ground. A giant steel gate to another realm, opening and closing, and giving them a glimpse of the future. There was earth in their mouths, and the bugs had started to make use of their bodies as a new metropolis in which to breed and raise families with 1,000,000 tiny legs and no need for televisions and microwaves. They like jugs, kids. Keep eating the cornflakes and you'll keep putting jugs on the tail. This internment comes to you courtesy of the nation's #1 breakfast cereal. Swoosh, swoosh. The metal drove into the mud by their heads. Then a boot appeared and sunk it further into the soil. Are we to be trampled to death? I never in my wildest dreams thought this is how I'd die. The couple lay supine at the foot of the garden amongst the dying trees and the weeds. The little statue that had been consumed by the undergrowth, a gnome with a jaunty red hat and fishing pole. He appeared rather content to have been hidden away all these years, not a catch in sight. Pipe ties binding their hands and ankles, socks forced into his mouth, a pair of knickers into hers. These were a pair she bought for Valentine's a few years back, and she hadn't worn them since. I spent a pretty penny on these, she thought, tasting silk. Do you like them here, honey? They didn't have to dress up for the occasion, but it seemed only right. He put on a suit and tie, she a dress. They were both a little big, but that didn't matter. It was the effort that counted. And he shone both their pairs of shoes, while she sat making them some masks to accompany their attire. There was no reason to make masks, but something inside her said it would add to the effect. It would be more impactful, and today was all about impact. For weeks beforehand, they'd been plotting how best to coerce their chosen targets into remaining total. But all it took was a quick phone call, and besides, the news had told them so. And they'd better adhere to what was being broadcast or face serious repercussions. This was no time to be questioning authority. Stay out of my garden. Stop playing video games. Eat this. Do the dishes. Their home had shifted from being a claustrophobic environment suffused with passive aggression and the odd crockery projectile to an environment of out-and-out hostility. The suburban two-up, two-down pressure cooker primed to explode on a whim in a frenzy of spit, feet, and fists. Didn't help that they'd found an heirloom in the form of a knuckle duster whilst rummaging through the secret desk. There were no more campsies, all the emergency flares exhausted, apart from the two downstairs that were ready to impact. At first, they had tried to barricade themselves in the bathroom. This was proving successful, save for the lack of food. But the wild boar aggressors soon charged the door with their tusks, splintering the wood, scraping their doughy, frightened flesh out from between the sink and the toilet where they'd squeezed themselves. We don't want to hurt you, we just show you how angry we are. But once they started hurting them, they found out they enjoyed it. We'd spend hours each day concocting new ways in which to torture their captives. From then on, they were to be held hostage and abused and raped daily, because that's what we do in scenarios. Molestation happened just days after a significant birthday. Stay out of my garden. Stop playing video games. Eat this. Do the dishes. 41 scars over the head. And we're not talking about little ones. Big as mice. They cycled under artificial skies and through hills and fire with gorse. Butterflies acting as road signage before flitting off to visit flowering friends. Buzzards would blow over their heads and people, slow in their movements, tended to their country gardens with shears. They passed the farms of their ancestors, proud buildings perched like hawks above the pasture rich with grass, which they spun into gold. Scenting cattle rolled in the fields, the pylons hummed secrets to one another. As they pedaled, their legs tired, went to sleep. The rest of their bodies followed shortly after. Wildflowers everywhere. Why are you doing this to us? What have we done wrong? It doesn't have to be this way. We can change. We will change. We promise. Boring. Maybe we just don't like the look of your faces. Ever thought of that? Yes. We don't like the look of your faces. Here, pass me that knife. Where's the reason? Fuck reason. At least tell us why the masks. They allow us to carry out these chores more effectively. Now watch carefully. The knife traversed the channel of the woman's face, the blade whittling across her cheekbone until it found the soft of her socket. With a sharp jab, it docked firmly beneath her left eye. She screamed the room blue. The invaders leered like tyrants into the darkening cold as the balls hung past her knife by the optic nerve. This perverse birthday party, complete with a balloon filled with evil played out in miniature. Her husband's face flooded with tears. You bastards, he yelled. You fucking depraved bastards. A welding glove struck him a blow to the side of his head that delved past his gnashing teeth towards his tongue, pulling it into the daylight as if it were a vampire who roused from his crypt of earth and worm. The blade, a goldfinch in flight switched direction. With a swift strike, it sliced through this muscular bridge. Blood fountained into the masks, turning them dark with shadows. Nosferatu tumbled from its cave to the floor, where it languished like a sick oarfish washed up the deserted California shore. But the woman slumped to the ground, her eye drying against the carpet. The girl punched her between the legs and pressed the blade to her vulva. Screams ransacked the hole, the birds lifted from the trees in the garden. And how the birds danced to the exotic sounds of the river, the mountains, the forest, and the butterflies, the wind sensual, caressing the weeds and the dappled light of canopies. Now where's the dog? The boy imagined the canine walk around his forearm, shaking it like a snake. He beat it with a broom. The gang rode the animal huddled around with chains and whips, moving in and out in circles like characters from an arcade. He struck at his head and body, and electronic sounds escaped him. A large, tall man with a handlebar moustache and a bare chest swung at his gut with an ill-infused club. A woman in a tight top knifed him in the kidney, then retreated as another harpy swept in and stabbed him in the back. He was bleeding on the street. He felt a splash of liquid in his face, and he tasted it in his mouth. The fumes filled his nose. It was gasoline he'd been doused, and a match was lit, and it went up like a candle. Now let's get you hard. The girl reached over and started stroking the man's penis. She looked upset. The man was in tears. Not having much success, said the young. She stared at his limp appendage. Stop it, please. Stop it. Maybe this will help. She went to chest and drawers and pulled out a selection of pornography. She leafed through the age magazines. Looks like you would find this one. Children wanted with his head back. Section where readers sending pictures of their wives. She's right. Look at her tits. It won't be long before she's pregnant. Just for a moment. The man continued to plead. A pathetic insect. Wings broken. Carapace ground into the carpet. And then he goes into this stuff. I'm sorry. I knew the woman managed to go. So, her eye was the small space station. While this was going on, the boy found the woman's hair shoulders. As he going over there, the girl with a smile, a light click to show what the head's on. Go over here quickly. Draw fucking hard. The man is ashamed he was erect in these horrific circumstances. One last hurrah, old boy. One last hurrah. He was barely able to pee with strangers in bar toilets and service stations. And here he was performing while his wife for a quarter of a century to be face down on a rock with her eye gouged out. He felt sick and vomiting. It was no longer him. The soul had left through the window and was drifting like a mist across the world. His eyes clouded in pain, I imagine, as the boy placed his penis in the streams, the scent of seared flesh knocking him. And with Cetus no more, the shorter human shadows became one and enveloped the woman. Sometimes you can feel your fingers dripping with dirt when you type, the mind full of mud. When they awoke, He felt different. That night, the pylons had ceased buzzing despite the torrential rain, and this morning the hillside beyond their batch of tract housing was alive with flowers that climbed the legs of the structures, winding themselves around the metal, making a pilgrimage towards a being unknown, sat upon a cloud high up near the sun. Stigma, singing, petals reverberating. The hill and all on it was resplendent with a different kind of life. And so were they, although their eyes had darkened, and the hands at the end of their arms didn't feel like they belonged to them anymore, and their brains pulsated in their skulls like rogue animals. It's over now. The children stood at their parents' graves. The soil had been packed tight, and the little girl bent down and planted some seeds. They deserved a half-decent burial after all they'd been put through. She wondered how big the sunflowers would get, and if they'd block out the light of the house. It was a dark carcass, and in need of an airing. For a split second, she regretted the horror. On the outskirts of the town, the mass loomed large and grey, and still capable of taking control of the population at a moment's notice. But their work was done. They proved a beacon in these testing times, a guiding power. One day we will celebrate you again. She looked over the garden fence and saw a thrush taped to a small tree and sing. We better give them regular offerings, the little boy said. We might get upset if we don't. Christ knows what would happen then. He reached for his little sister's hand and led her back inside the house. It was to be theirs for the rest of their time on the planet. And she'd be able to garden, and he'd be able to play video games for as long as he liked, and the dishes could wait. Her child was on its way too.
Carrollton, in a district of East London that was known for its well-adjusted liberal thinkers, with 3 young professionals in a shared 3-bedroom flat, Emily, Larissa and Brian. Once the lockdown started in the spring 2020, they all started to work from home. Without a garden or outside space, their minds needed to wander. They were trying their best to do social distancing within the flat and would send phone messages between them communicating when they were planning to use the kitchen, etc. They were being sensible and kind to each other, offering to share food and considering shortages. After a few days, the breathlessness started to set in. Emily, who was an imaginative, sensitive, bookie kind of person, and finding things emotionally difficult. Then she found an article about boosting immunity and reducing anxiety with masturbation. She had been doing it over the last few days anyway, was finding it hard to get around, exhausting her repertoire and focusing on her. She thought maybe she could order online for it. She browsed the internet and found the whole fabric order. She remembered that the taste of the kind of same shop far from where she lived. This went on, all very much better. Plus, neither of them had quite the bookie imagination then. They were both sporty, genuine types, and were finding it hard to get rid of the excess energy. They had been spending time doing sit-ups, etc. And they had been masturbating too, also running low on fantasies, as they had no outside stimulation to draw on. Emily was feeling shy about going to the sexual or ordering on the road with her daughter. We were so involved to their bedrooms, and it was her turn to use the kitchen. She made herself a little salad. While she was waiting on the couch, something interrupted her, and she thought that she could perhaps try the couch as a moderator and see how it feels. After finishing her supper, she munched and walked back to her bedroom. The county, 10 minutes a Saturday later. Not that either of her flatmates were going to see her because everyone's doors were closed, but it felt better for her to act it out as if they were watching. Once back in her bedroom, she placed the camera down in anticipation of the pledges. The next day, she returned to the kitchen with the carrot, in much the same way as she had done before, like it was a sin. But this time, she did feel a slight affection for the carrot, as it had just lost its virginity. Later, that evening, Brian entered the kitchen. He also chose the right side for supper. Brian's return, the carrot next hallway. Rather predictably, the sign was inside inside system. ... The carrot relay continued for some days, each of them excited about their turn to use the kitchen. But when seeing the carrot was no longer English but Swedish, they each assumed one of the other flatmates had eaten it. So Emily was perplexed when she saw the carrot had returned to the vegetable basket one morning, having seen it disappear the night before. Though Emily hadn't put two and two together, she had now backed up the courage to go to the sex shop anyway. Once she was there, she browsed around, and there was lots of choice. She saw a small one, but then she realised the large ones just as cheap, and she thought she'd like to get her money's worth. In fact, she decided to buy two. She went to the counter. The shop assistant said, "You can have a third one half price, you know." Emily replied, "Why would I need three?" The assistant said, "In case you are not alone, and or you are into oils and or bisexuality simultaneously." Emily guessed how to calculate all the intersexual numeric subdividable identity complexities, replied, "I would need at least 9 for that matter." Now working from home during the lockdown, he had to await his new assignment, which was due for testing that morning. He knew it was some sort of modular system that could have many add-ons and accessories. They didn't actually know what it was yet. Whilst he was keen to get the package in and open, he knew he'd have to go through procedures to make sure the package surfaces were all thoroughly washed. It was a large package. He could peek through the plastic wrap and see writing. It was not articulated, mechanically jointed sort of thing. He knew it had come from a high-tech company in Switzerland, who were really excited about getting it out to the gym as soon as possible if it met his test satisfaction. Brian started moving the sort of armature object. It was made of slightly cushioned plastic, like when you get on car dashboards. It was textured too, and if you looked in detail, it was like a turtle shell pattern, sort of segmented, like slightly ridged, so to touch you might think it had a good grip. It felt good in weight. Nice. But this was not the point. He could still not fathom what it was. It had 5 protruding elements that were bending telescopically. It certainly was not lethal. He saw the logo on the side, written in a sporty, slanting, and slightly liquidy font. He wasn't sure about that. But the name was called Wrestler Flesh. It wasn't exactly part of his job to comment on these aesthetic elements, but he always did, and it was appreciated. He thought it was one of the main reasons he usually got chosen first by his employer to get the best stuff to test. Without anyone to switch on the rest of the Larissa was trying to finish her PhD. She'd managed to secure funding from an international medical consortium for a proposed title, Psychofeminist Neurology and Consciousness in Futuristic Matriarch. She'd completed her medical studies and had an MSc in neuroanatomy. She was well versed and felt safe in her research around neurology, which was vital to comply with grant requirements. But the area that she was less familiar with was psychology and consciousness. She found herself on a diversifying path, reading a lot of new philosophy. She didn't feel comfortable with the idea of consciousness, but the philosophy had her mind. Larissa had come from a modest background. She grew up in a village outside Great Yarmouth. Her parents were both primary school teachers. They were really proud of their only child going on to write a PhD. Larissa had met some very exciting people in East London and had tried some daring things. She'd taken ecstasy and LSD and once found herself as an orgy in Canada. She felt she could draw upon these experiences and it helped her understand the psychology elements of consciousness. During the lockdown, these experiences were really helping her write. It just flowed better. She'd zoom in on her memories of that night in Dagenham, where she remembered feeling in something abstract heuristic. She would picture herself outside of the scene whilst yet partaking in sexual acts, which were very risky for her. She remembered this transsexual guy at the orgy chatting away about how he felt like a man trapped inside a man's body. But there he was, at the very same time, mainly penetrating a non-binary person. It was then Larissa had therefore he was very literally trapped and not at the same time. Status was both created and translated. He was himself othered by his own non-conscious state. He was the process, not the final product, which he so really for. She plotted this in neuroatomic terms and found this was actually not such an uncommon state at all. It was known as intrastatic synapse loop entanglement. People often get it when presented with too much choice, eating soap brands in the supermarket or deciding which person to sit next to on the bus. By this time, Eurus had exhausted herself with her own thinking, and disturbed by the noise of Brian shifting thoughts around and not strange electronic mechanisms coming from every room, she decided to lie down and take a nap.
This was a Liminality interview, audio production, commissioned and produced by High Level Studios.